This is Ian Coates. Welcome to Bio 1031, Week 9, the skeletal system. Just letting you guys know there that I've updated the PowerPoint. So if I know the PowerPoint's been available since, I don't know, since Saturday or something like that, but I've updated it. So please make sure your records are updated. Just minor changes, just formatting these kinds of things here. Some differences. So do make sure there you guys get a new version of it. And I'd like to say thanks there to my Monday class there. I appreciate it. That MRI, nothing you can do. Welcome to the new medicine there. If you don't take your appointment there, they'll put you to the bottom of the line and then another 6 months. So I appreciate that. And just letting you guys know that test 2 is next week. It'll be in class. And it covers everything there after test 1. So it'll be week 6, week 7, week 8, and week 9. And yes, if you do hear a cat in the background, come on, get out of here, man. Psst, come on. So we're just going to make this screencast here and get you guys going, and I hope everything's okay. If there's any issues there, do let me know. This week there, week 9, it's Group B for Lab 4. Any issues, let me know. All right, let's get started. Please, you can pause, stop this video all you like, do a bit of research. There are videos embedded within it, links, that kind of thing. So let me know if there's any access issues. The skeletal system. Let's go. Functions of the bones, all 206 of them. Support, protection, movement, mineral storage, hematopoiesis, that's RBC formation, red blood cells, all controlled there by the kidneys. All right, get more of that there in when we get into the endocrine system there the last couple weeks of the course. Mineral storage, calcium, phosphorus, other minerals, of course, they get stored there in the bones. When the mineral content in the blood gets too high, we don't throw these out, just dump them on the bones. When the mineral content of the blood gets low, we start robbing the bones. And we'll get this one here, we'll cover majorly sooner than later. Functions of the bone, if you connect a bone to a muscle and a muscle to a nerve, then you get motion. And that's basically what we covered there so far this term. We started off there with nerve, moved on to muscle, and now we're at bone. Protection. Bones, hard bony boxes there. They protect the delicate structures on the inside. We'll get into shapes and sizes. There are specific bones there that kind of do that. They're flat bones. Think cranium, think scapula. But we'll get there. As well, support. Ligaments help hold bones together, form the framework of the body. We have an endoskeleton. Creatures like crayfish and insects, they have an exoskeleton. Bones are very active living tissue, and please don't ever make that mistake. The bones are not alive. You're going to see there that they very much are. They've got lots of nerve and blood supply going through them. They're very active mitotically. They're alive and they grow. Each bone is made up of several types of tissue: bone cartilage, dense connective tissue, blood, nervous tissue. Okay, and therefore it is an organ. You'll see what we're talking about here. These are the major bones, major areas there of the body. We're going to go into a little bit more detail. Nothing too crazy, all right? But this is all good stuff. There are, within the skeletal system, there are 2 subdivisions. Oh, and if you hear, there's cats around, there's a dog, there's even kids around. So you might hear some screaming and crying and laughing. So anyway, we'll just work through it. There is the axial skeleton as opposed to the appendicular skeleton. You'll see there that the axial skeleton, okay, is just the skull, the vertebral column, the ribs. And you'll see there that there's nothing to do with locomotion. Okay, these can all move in here, but you'll see there that the appendicular skeleton, it's the clavicle and the scapula and the shoulder on down. That's movement there of the arms, and then the pelvis on down to the tippy toes. Okay. A little bit of an overview before we get things kicked off there. The axial skeleton, 80 bones, okay, within the skull there. There's 22, 8 cranial, and 14 facial bones. There's the hyoid. Okay, this bone here doesn't articulate with anything. It's embedded there within tissue. Okay, auditory ossicles there. Here of the ear, 6 bones of the ear. Okay, vertebral column itself, 26 bones, but that will change depending on whether you are an adult or a child. We'll get there. The thorax, here we're talking about the sternum and the rib cage. Okay, sternum, 1 bone, ribs, 24. Okay. The appendicular skeleton here is 126 bones. Okay. Pectoral girdle. Okay. Clavicle, scapula. Okay. We'll get into all. I have better pics there that I'll show you. Okay. Upper arm. Okay. The 3 long bones of the upper arm. Humerus, ulna, radius. Okay. Carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. Carpals are wrist bone. Metacarpals are hand bone. Phalanges there are fingers, which is absolutely related there to the toes. Okay, we'll get there. Pelvic girdle, moving on down. Okay, there's your pelvic bone, femur, patella, fibula, tibia, and now tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges again. So there is a relationship there between the ankle and foot to the wrist and the hand. Bone tissue, surprisingly, is about 25% water. 25% collagen. This one here gives it its flexibility, its strength. It can take a hit. There is a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? There is a bit of squish, a bit of movement allowable, okay? And it's this collagen fiber and water that gives the bones a little bit of flexibility. They can take a hit, all right? Yeah, good. Moving in, and I apologize, I'm just going through this fast. You guys can stop and start it as you like. We're just going to try and get this through, hopefully there in an hour or so. I'm going to go super duper rooper quick. There are types of bones here. We've got long bones. You can see them. We've got irregular bones, okay, like the, let's just say this is the humerus right here, okay, the upper arm. Irregular bones there. What we've got the spinal column, vertebral column. We've got short bones here that are typical there of the wrist and ankle, carpals and tarsals, okay. We've got flat bones here, the skull, sternum, scapulae, okay, pelvis. Sesamoid bones here, these are bones there that are embedded within a tendon, patella, and we've got the hyoid as well, all right. Yeah, so have a look at these here, have some fun with them, all right. Long bones there, arms and legs, they form, they're long, and they're like that, they're hollow, they're for weight bearing, okay? These irregular bones there, jawbone, spine, vertebral column, they're odd shaped, and you see like here for the vertebral column, which we'll get into more, you know, the spinous processes here, you have little facets on the side here, this is where the ribs will come. There's lots of places on these irregular bones there for muscle for ligament attachment, these kinds of things. Okay, flat bones, good for making blood. Okay, short bones here, they're involved there in the wrist and the ankle. Okay, and like a neat little one there, like when we get into joints there at the end, it's like a saddle joint. Like a horse saddle, you'll have one horse saddle on top of another. I know it's strange, it's weird, but and you'll see there that these little joints there, they form for little types of movement within the wrist and the ankle. Okay. Bone tissue, there's compact and there's spongy, and you'll see there that a lot of the examples there we're going to use like long bones here, and you'll see there that if you just envision this bone coming around here like this, okay, around the outside of it, okay, the perimeter of the bone on a crossways cross section here, the compact bone is made of what we call osteons, and you'll see there that this round segment, these tubes, and here's a cross section here, and these tubes go down, and what happens here is you have the blood vessels, the nerves. They get laid down, and then these circles, okay, they form over top, and they envelop and around, and you know, it's absolutely the wrong analogy, but just, you know, tree rings. There's no chronology here, okay, every year is a different, you know, every ring is a different year. It doesn't work like that, but it's So think of it as kind of tree rings here. Very strong, compact bone. It's very organized. And you'll see there that we call this there the Haversian canal. Okay, and that's where the blood vessels and nerves, they travel through. Okay, these ones here are called Volkmann's canals. Okay, they move horizontally. But we'll get more into this there as we go. These compact bone. Hey, cats, no fighting. Go on, get out of here. Ugh, cats. You'll see there that these Haversian canals, they travel parallel to the length of the bone, and the Volkmann's canals there, they travel perpendicular. Within the center, if we start moving there towards the center of the bone there, we get into what's called the medullary cavity. And this is spongy bone, and you can see it. It's spongy, it's squishy, and we call this there trabeculae. All right, I'm just going to throw something at these cats. What? Cats. Oh yeah, that'll work right there. Come on. They're fine. You'll see there that the spongy bone there in the middle, trabecular bone, it's less organized. Short, flat, irregular bones and epiphysis there, lighter in weight. We'll get into the marrow. You'll see that there's red marrow and there's yellow marrow. Red marrow there is for blood making. Yellow marrow there tends to be for older individuals there, where the marrow is stop making blood. Okay, we'll get more into that there as we go. Cell types of the bone there, there's 5 there that we've kind of talked about. A couple of them there you've already seen, the osteon, the Volkmann's canal. We're going to get into these ones right here, all right? There's the osteoblast with a B, builds bone. Osteoclast with a C, degrades bone. Okay, and then there's osteocytes here. These ones here are involved in stress. Okay, if you don't use your bones, you lose them. You don't use your muscles, you suffer atrophy. You lose them. And that's these here osteocytes are involved in stress test. I thought that this slide here was really, really, really interesting. This is a femur. There's the acetabulum. It hooks right into the hip joint. Okay, and like I broke my tibia there back in the day. Tibia there, lower leg, big bone. If you break these bones, you've kind of done the fantastic. You've done the amazing. Like a femur here, it's billions of years of evolution, and it's designed not to break. Okay, so if you've broken your femur, you've done a pretty horribly fantastic, amazing job, because these things are not designed to break. And you'll see here that the orientation there of the trabeculae of the spongy tissue, you'll see their longitudinal section of the long bone showing trabeculae oriented along lines of stress. So you'll see there that the direction of stress created by the weight of the body, you'll see there that stress comes in. And if you think about stress, if you think about it as like a magnifying glass, and you hold up a magnifying glass and all the light just kind of hits a piece of paper, but if you just focus it just right so that all the light goes onto a single point, now you've got a fire, right? Well, it's the same thing there with force. If you can somehow get all the force to go into one point, that's where you get, a destructive force. But you'll see there that the bones, wherever the force is applied, this force, and it gets separated. The force never converges together. It's amazing biological design. Okay, all that force gets dispersed, so therefore the bone doesn't break. Brilliant. Osteoblast, as we said there about a minute ago, these are cells there that build bone. Okay, they build up bone tissue. They take up minerals there from blood. Okay, to make extracellular material. They secrete unmineralized bone matrix. Okay, called an osteoid, made of collagen. Okay, scaffolding there about 90%, calcium binding proteins 10%. Very, very active mitotically. Okay, so osteoblasts, they build bone. All right. Osteoclasts, on the other hand, these ones here, they degrade bone. Okay, and a single bone will have osteoblasts building it, and at the same time will have osteoclasts degrading it. It all depends on what's going on. So bones are very alive. They're being built up, taken down at the same time. All right. These osteoclasts are giant multinucleated cells. They're a little bit more detail than you would need to know, but they're all involved here, osteoclasts, in breakdown of bone. Okay, breakdown of the extracellular matrix. They release calcium, phosphorus, magnesium. That's what we're talking about. Derived there from the same hematopoietic stem cells there that become macrophages. Now, what do macrophages do? Macrophages, chomp chomp. They're able to, okay, envelop, break down. And that's what these osteoclasts are doing. They're breaking down the bone and releasing these minerals there back into the blood. Regulated there by the hormone calcitonin. We'll get there big time. Okay, the whole idea. And some of the things there were anything endocrinal, endocrine. Okay, that there, we're doing endocrine there after test 2. Okay, so anything hormonally speaking, like we're going to go back there to the pituitary and the hypothalamus and all of this there after test 2. So this stuff here will be fair game. These cells there, they have a ruffled border there that serve to increase surface area. Obviously there, it's all about enzyme degradation. Okay, good. Nice little electron micrograph there of your osteoclast and your osteoblasts. You'll see them there. I thought that this was just kind of cool. Okay. The osteocytes. Now, before we get into these there, you're going to see there that these osteocytes, they tend to sit in these crevices there called lacunae. All right. I have a better shot there. I'll show you there next one here. But these osteocytes, they're mature maintenance bone cells. Okay, they tend to reside in the lacuna. They don't divide anymore. They maintain the bone matrix and act as stress strain sensors by responding to mechanical stimuli, increased force on the bone, or even weightlessness. Now you think if you were in space for a year up in the International Space Station, the amount of force you would be exerting on your bones would be a lot less. So therefore, what would happen? Your bones would start to degrade. And that's what, your body's not dumb. Your body puts effort into areas of the bone that are being, or in the areas of the body that are being used. And if you're not using that particular part of the body, your body will take it away. Okay? Interestingly enough there, they relay information there to the osteoblasts and the osteoclasts. They take up nutrients, they rid waste, they produce ATP. These osteocytes there, they do a lot in bone regulation. Okay, just a shot right here there, you see that there's your lacunae, this kind of little wedge. Okay, and your osteocyte resides within. Okay, just reading the slide here, osteocytes trapped inside the hollow lacunae with hard bone matrix. And you'll see here that there's a real shot here. There's your lacunae. Okay, and your osteocyte within. Okay, interesting to note there, these cytoplasmic processes, okay, that extend out into the caniculus there below. Interesting. The going back into the osteon, okay, that's where these ones, just going back to the original slide, you'll see these ones right here. These are osteons there. These are your Haversian canal system. Okay. And if we just take one of these canals out of the bone, this is what it looks like. All right. You'll see there that there are these different layers there, lamellae, okay, not lacunae, what we were just talking about there. These are called lamellae. And you'll see there that, look at the fibers. They're all going in different directions. Obviously there, that's a protective measure. Okay. The osteon, their structural unit of compact bone, consists of these long elongated cylinders there that run parallel to the long axis of the bone. Absolutely tiny weight-bearing pillars. Okay, you can see there. An osteon cylinder consists of several rings of bone matrix called lamellae. These lamellae contain collagen fibers that run in different directions. They're all to withstand stress and resist twisting. But they do give a little bit of twist. You can twist and move bone a little bit. There is a little bit of give that it can handle. And interesting to note there, the bone salts, calcium, phosphorus, these ones there, are found between the collagen fibers. Okay? Please have a watch of this movie here. It shows you exactly how an osteon is formed. Great little movie. It's about a minute long. These osteon, the Haversian system, they run parallel to the long bone. And you'll see there that these Volkmann canals, they run horizontally, and not to go back and forth, but you'll see there that there's your Haversian system and there's your Volkmann's canal. Okay. Any issues, let me know. Ossification, hardening of soft tissue. Okay, here we're talking about hardening of the bones. We all know there that when we're born, our bones are very soft. But as we get older, the bones will ossify. They'll get hardening. They'll harden, okay? And you'll see there that you can go on YouTube and you go on YouTube there and you can see these little kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, and their parents have, got them into the gym. Exercise is great, but weightlifting there to an individual who has soft bones, that's a big problem, because you get a 7-year-old and you can see them there. They're pretty buff. They really are. And the problem is when you get a 7-year-old doing, lifting some serious weights, the bones aren't solid yet. They haven't truly ossified. So there's a bit of bend, more so than normal. And you get these kids lifting weights, the bones will bend and they'll stay bent. And by the time they hit puberty and when these bones start to ossify, they will ossify bent. And if you bend the shape of a bone, just going back here, where is my... And you see these bones here are this shape for a reason. And if you change the shape of the bone, now, if you change the shape, these stresses can meet at a certain point, and therefore now that bone would be prone to fracture. Okay? Holy, there's a lot of movement upstairs. There's going to be a lot of creaks and groans from our floor. I'm down in the basement, by the way. So the ossification, there's 2 types here. Okay, there's intercartilaginous, okay, also called endochondral, okay, ossification. There's intramembranous ossification. So intercartilaginous, okay, here we're talking about long bones, okay. Intramembranous ossification, we're talking about flat bone, okay. We'll get into more detail there in the next couple slides, but both rely on calcitonin, a hormone there produced by the thyroid gland, which regulates the metabolism of the body's most abundant mineral, calcium. High concentrations of calcium in the blood, okay, initiates the production of calcitonin, which deposits calcium into the bone, okay. Intercartilaginous here, this is the process there of calcification with vitamin D, when calcium and phosphorus calcify along the cartilage, beginning about the 5th week in the development of the fetus. Okay, I'm not doing any type of embryology, but that's about as far as we'll go. Blood supply brings osteoblasts there that attach to the diaphysis. Blood supply brings osteoblasts that attach to the diaphysis, so in the bloodstream. Okay, then to the epiphysis. Okay. Oh, sorry guys, I gotta pause this there for a second. We'll be back.